abracadabra. Did you know that in Arabic, abracadabra translates to "with my words I create"? So if misdirection is a trick, real magic exists in recognition. The first step one can take towards self-empowerment, enlightenment, and real magic begins with one simple understanding. You are not the story in your mind. So our journey into this magical process begins by recognizing the voice inside your head. Have you ever noticed the voice inside of your head? Many of us identify with this voice. It's the story in your mind, that language of inner monologue that often becomes the driving force behind our reactions and behaviors. We believe everything this voice in our mind says inside because we presume that we are the one saying it, right? As opposed to it just being something that's happening to us. The voice inside your mind. If we believe that this voice inside our mind is us and not instead something that is happening to us or inside us, this identification with this narrative in our mind can become something that we get easily caught within. We get trapped in a linguistically produced, almost hypnotic trance, which regularly forms the root cause that underlines the majority of our unnecessary suffering. Are you following me so far? Let me know in the chat. This is making sense. So, we all have a tendency to over-identify with our thoughts. We amplify them in our mind to the status of facts or the truth. So, we become used to our thoughts in this way, and our thoughts themselves can become over-controlling, preventing us from seeing other ways of being or other possibilities or other options. So the key to breaking free from this cycle of thought is a process we'll call cognitive diffusion. This is a technique that involves creating a little space between ourselves, what we consider and associate as ourselves, and our thoughts and feelings. So instead of buying into your thoughts as absolute truth, we learn to simply notice them. Let them come and go, view them for what they are, passing words, pictures, and sensations. So even now, I want you to take a moment and recognize, as I'm speaking to you, in your mind, a story is crafting. What are you thinking? Are you like, wow, this is really cool? Or are you like, what the hell is he talking about? Or is there judgments? Is there excitement? Just recognize, take a second. Are you thinking of something completely different? Are you thinking of what you have to do later today? Are you feeling tired? Are you realizing like, oh yeah, I know this. I wish more people knew this. What's the narrative? The constant push-pull between full self-belief and anxiety over the goals I set and not getting there. Relatable. I can relate to that a lot. So thank you for sharing. This is gonna get deep into the magic. So thank you for coming along this ride with me. What is cognitive diffusion, right? It's looking at our thoughts rather than looking through them or from them. It's noticing thoughts rather than getting caught up or becoming emotionally, energetically charged by the thought, right? So instead of being like, oh, I'm frustrated, it's like, I see the frustration, right? That little bit of distance that allows you to create leverage. It's letting thoughts come and go rather than holding on to them. So like instead of like, oh, I'm so frustrated, it's like there's the frustration, let the frustration pass. It's choosing to identify with thoughts that resonate with your higher self. So you get to choose like which thoughts are me, right? Like you might think like, fuck that person. And then you recognize like, oh wow, that's really bitter. That's not my highest self. That's not who I am. That's something else. I choose not to own that as me. And this is where things get really interesting. Right? So this is why meditation is such a popular practice, because it's one of the keys to activating this pause, which is necessary for cognitive diffusion. Because if you never create this pause, this little bit of space, you never are able to relate to these narratives in your head. So by diffusing our thoughts, we gain greater control over our behavior, and we can form a more objective relationship with the voice in our head. We learn to let go of attachment to our thoughts and emotions, and in doing so, we open ourselves up to a broader experience. This practice enables the space to harness a leveraged relationship to that inner voice, which allows you the capacity to consciously curate the story in your mind, which will then shape your reality in a positive way. So how do we do that? And please continue to share as we go through just anything that's coming up, anything that's landing, right? Like, you guys are in this journey with me. Counting on y'all. So, crafting spells.